What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to episode 2 of the StreamCast Podcast, a podcast where we watch the latest and greatest streaming shows and movies with you guys. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the bro with the most below, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
It's going great because we definitely have that intro nailed down. We're 100% sure that's what we're saying and it's not changing, right?
Well, we're professionals, we'd have to get that nailed down before getting the show.
Oh, yeah, we wouldn't do that.
We wouldn't ever change the script on them eventually
or forget what the intro was.
What are you talking about? Your nonsense right
No.
there. But how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. I've been enjoying WandaVision. Obviously, that's what we're watching. Recapping episode 5.
Before we say anything.
Yeah, we're not getting into it yet.
No spoilers, but oh my Jesus!
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Did you watch it with your girlfriend, or did you watch it by yourself?
No, I watched it on my own.
I watched it with my girlfriend, and after this, it was preceded by like 45 minutes of me trying to explain to her why this was the most awesome thing in the world. I was like, babe. 1 second, let me just get the PowerPoint presentation out for you.
What's really interesting is last episode we both had some theories.
Yes.
Much of that was just ridiculous, just so stupid. It's not even funny. Don't ever go back. You do go back and watch it, like it, share it with all your friends, probation officer, your grandma, and all that stuff. But skip all the stupidity, which is like 45%. But we also both hit on some like really key points. And it turned out that the bits we were right on, we were actually like spot on.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to getting into it. But before that,
yes, this
show, along with all of our content on this channel and on our channel over at Comboplations, is powered by our incredible super bros over on patreon.com/conversations. Who do we have to thank?
We have Diogo Dildo. I'm sorry for the names. Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsuck. I'm really sorry. Carol Torrivia, aka Catsper the Friendly Patron, Record Friction, Dan, The Man, Jeremy Runner, that's right, an official Avenger, Martin Scorsese's Master, HBarts12, the Midget Aloy from Smallville, Sabine, the former freeloader Christian, Master Chief himself, Albiscori, Super Sus Ben Fryer, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, and the Assassino, Ezio Al Felipe. Thank you, bro, so much for keeping the lights, the mics on, and the streaming service is going here on the StreamCast Podcast, right?
That's right. I was wondering what you were going to do there because Comboplations is we do gaming.
Yeah, I come with a new one for everything.
Podcasts and stuff. So
yes,
this episode,
yes.
It's going to hopefully will be shorter because the last one we wrapped up 4 episodes. We only got 1 now,
exactly. And we had that anchor of Tyler as well.
My God, my back still aches trying to carry the content.
Tell you, it was, and everybody as well in the comments. Thank you so much for pointing out that we were clearly the highlights of that episode.
It's true.
He was just an anchor.
Yeah. I mean, an unwanted guest, but you like they haven't quite fully outstayed their welcome. You can't exactly like shuffle them out the door, but you're trying. So. Recapping the last 4 episodes, we had this theory that potentially Mephisto, who is the devil character in the Marvel Universe, was involved somehow.
Yes.
We had stuff that we think we might... So that's not confirmed, but I think it's looking close.
It's looking close, and I have another theory based on stuff that happened in this one that is really cool, and we'll tell about that later.
So, prior to that thing we read out the comments, because actually it's not just that watches these shows. You guys write in on our Discord, the greatest Discord that exists, which will be linked in the description below, but we all watch it together. We read your comments on the show, so stick around to the end. Someone had said there's a deleted scene in Endgame where Wanda takes Vision's body.
Yeah.
Well,
was it CGGC something or another? I remember her name half
like
there. That was I didn't know about that, and I was like, that could be cool.
Right. I guess presumably this is that.
Yeah.
And so I had said Vision is real. Like it's his real personality. If she has his body, then his brain's all in there. It's just like the power that's not there. And she's powering him. So that panned out. And I had said the boys are real. Like she's somehow there. She's made them. They're like they're standalone. The boys are freaking me out, man. I'm going to straight up say the twins are the creepiest thing about the whole show. Even Corpse Vision.
When it comes to even Corpse Vision, twins in general pretty damn scary in life.
My chick's an identical twin.
Oh yeah, no, you can't.
By the way, they don't like the if I banged your sister, technically it wouldn't be cheating line.
Do they not like that? Is that
so I hear?
Is that not a thing in real life? Girls like Strange.
Who knew? The more you know, right? Free one, they free lads.
I like to not even ask how you know that. Just leave that like that.
Just so I hear. So I hear.
Yeah, they are quite creepy, and I guess that's kind of what you get when kids don't grow up with a proper childhood because they don't have enough experiences over the years.
Yeah.
Whereas these kids are like, they're old enough to know what they're doing and talking about, but they're kind of immature, but don't understand the world. And I mean, they're not in the real world anyway. So what can they understand?
So look, this is a good way to lead into the show. The very first scene is Wanda and Vision sort of trying to like in that happy-go-lucky. We're in 80s reality, not reality TV, like sitcom.
Yes, it's what is it? Family Ties.
Yeah,
Family Ties. They tried
it.
to emulate.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't seen, really good. Michael J. Fox. If you're a fan,
it is really good.
Good stuff.
It is really good.
But yeah, they're trying to like calm down the babies.
Right,
They're crying.
and she's trying to like magic them, trying to be like, because she controls reality here, right? And it's not working. They're not stopping crying. Vision goes and gets the pacifiers, the dummies, I think we call them here. Yeah, dummies, right?
Yeah, they also call them apparently binkies as well.
I don't know. The sucky things.
Yeah,
and he comes up with them in his ears, which is funny. And she's like, that's not how you use them. And he's like, actually, they are designed to dampen sound. Because he's not wrong. Tell me he's wrong. Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
Where's the lie? It's like when you try and describe something but not using its correct term. It's
right.
Like, that's exactly what that was there. And just as they're like, okay, we'll put the dummies in. Baby stop for 1 second. Spit them back out. Immediately starts like comedic sitcom style.
Yeah.
And then like Wanda's like, I guess we just need some help.
Ding
dong. Immediately, who turns up?
Our favourite character, Ains.
Ains turns up again. I love this character. Honestly, Ains is one of the best characters out there. People in the chat as well, they loved Ains. They
love Ains.
Every time we mentioned them, in fact,
they love the way, in particular, you say her name with our London accent.
Exactly.
That's, I think, the chat just lit up. There's a lot of guys all over the world. Right, and they don't appropriately know how to say this name. Bizarrely, the American accent, they say it weirdly.
How do they say it?
I don't know it. They chuck like a vowel in the middle there.
Strange.
It's odd. It's like, you know how, what's an American thing? You know how like we'd say bathroom, they say restroom, but they do that for names. It's
Escalator,
so weird.
Yeah.
Lift, elevator, it's that kind of thing. It means the same, but they just say it weird.
Strange. Well, that's just unfortunate. Maybe you guys didn't get.
Do you know
that.
what it is? This is exactly what it is. You know how we spell colour? It's COLOUR.
Yeah,
they take a letter out, which is wrong.
Yeah.
For her name, they add a letter in.
That's it. See, we solved it, guys. So Ains comes in.
Ains, the friendly, nosy neighbour.
And she's dressed all in her like leg warmers and like skin tight lycra suit and whatnot.
Very 80s. I'm about to do a fitness scene.
Exactly. Yeah. And she goes. Apparently, she was just passing on her way to Jazzercise when she was told that that the guys needed help putting their babies to sleep. It's like, who told you that? These ears, sweetie. Oh, because I was walking by and I could hear them cry out. So funny.
It's something like Vision gets like overprotective. Like he doesn't want to leave the boy. He's a brand new dad.
Yes.
And also he hasn't had the preparation of I'm going to be a dad. His whole preparation up to the point of having these twins is 2 days.
Exactly.
So
he's like, no preparation there whatsoever.
He's like, I don't know.
Have you washed your hands?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Maybe you shouldn't touch them. Maybe you shouldn't touch them. And then at that moment, Ains just stops. She's like,
should I take it from the top? Should I do that
looks
again?
At Wanda and's like, should I take it from the top?
Yeah, she's like, it's really funny because have you ever been on a real set?
No.
So that is one of the people are aware of this, but like it's a reshoot. She's asking, do we need to reshoot or have we got the footage and we can move to the next scene?
Right, because that's how they do it. They just go back and forth if they need to.
You do 10 or 15 takes of the thing you've got because everything's set up before that thing. Yeah. All the angles are set up. Cool, right? That one's done. Basically, you wrap the scene. Yeah. It's not called that, but the scene's done, and you shoot the next scene. And she's asking, do we need reshoots? Shall I reshoot it for the show?
Shall I go back? Shall I go back from the top? And he looks at Wanda, and Wanda's sort of like, at this scene, she almost looks confused as well, in my opinion.
I think she is. So I think, and we kind of get, by the way, if you guys can hear that is our third host with the most talent.
The most talent, Ayla.
Throwing a fit with HR outside. I think she's probably getting a change of wardrobe. I love her so much. I think Wanda is a bit off-put here. So like, we kind of get
your interpretation of what's going on here.
We get the idea that she is, although she's in control.
Yeah.
she's not the driving force. Like imagine you're on like a motorway. You're the only car there, right? You can choose what lane you're in, but you can't choose to stop.
Right.
That's how she's
Understandable.
right. That's how I feel that Wanda is, and so she kind of knows something's up. We've seen that from the last episode where she got Monica slash Geraldine, and she's like
your favorite character.
My favorite character. Yeah. I mean, some people don't know it. I've been quite subtle about who my favorite character is.
I didn't notice, honestly. Tyler as well afterwards was like, I'm just throwing it out there. Do you have a thing?
He's
for
pretty
Geraldine?
he's pretty perceptive.
Pretty perceptive guy. Yeah. But yeah.
I think she kind of knows. She knows she's in control, but a lot of the time she's like letting herself slip back into the dream. You know, if you ever, anybody that's ever woken up from a dream and tried to get back into it and managed it, I feel like she's in that spot where she kind of is lucid dreaming a bit while she's in the zone.
There is a point later on where Vision says, sorry to jump ahead and spoilers and stuff like that, but Vision says at one point, I do believe this was subconscious and whatnot. Maybe that sometimes she does just go into a subconscious. My interpretation of it was that she was confused because she's usually in control of everything, and this was one thing that didn't seem in control.
She's not used to the character's actor talking to her about the scene the character needs to be doing. Yes. Right?
And Vision was confused for a whole different reason, because she's like, what from the beginning? What from the top?
What's she talking about?
This is like life and whatnot. Anyway, Wanda just sort of turns around and goes, when she's like about to reset the scene, she's like, don't be silly there, Ains. Don't be silly, just...
I hate it.
Don't be silly. Come back. Just you can take a look at the babies. And then she's like, oh, no problem.
Vision won't give it up, though.
Do you want to say that? What? Just before we get to that bit, the babies go dead silent in this moment. When everything gets broken out of character, when the whole show stops to a halt, the babies go dead silent.
Okay. Are you reading into something?
I don't know, because
sometimes the curtains are just red, man. That's because the author wrote the curtains were red. They're not always a symbol of whatever that's supposed to be. I don't remember of Mice and Men. Okay, I don't remember.
It may have been. Oh, afterwards they were like, "That's too distracting with the babies crying in the background to get the gravity of the situation." It could be, but that does lend to the idea that maybe, and I don't believe this, I believe the babies are real.
I think they were 100%, yeah.
But it seems that the babies stopped out of nowhere for no reason, that maybe that they are part of this illusion.
I suspect it's more of a director's decision, because with the babies crying and all this going on, it adds a level of tension. Yeah. Right? It's like how do you make a scene where someone's stressed? You give them a lot of stuff to do, stuff that they need to do now, like the baby's crying, the pasta's overflowing, and the phone rings, and someone knocks at the door, right? Like you start adding stuff in, and so to take that kind of stress out of the scene, because the focus should be on Vision starting to realize that these layers are peeling up.
It was just they probably tried it with the crying, and it was just too much and whatnot. Anyway, so then it all goes back to the regular program scheduling, and then the Vision goes, Wanda, can I just speak to you just over here for a second? Because he's like, yeah, sure. And he goes, and then they just start speaking. It's like, what was that with Ains? What's going on? Yeah, it's like, what was what?
What do you mean? The best thing is, Wanda's not selling it.
Yeah,
she's trying to. It's weird. Like, it's the weirdest kind of gaslighting, because she's like, no, you're stressed. You're a brand new father. I didn't see it. You saw it.
She was confused, darling. Don't worry about it. It's like she was just confused about something. Don't worry about it. And then afterwards, Ains is doing the most ridiculous things behind. Right. Like, she's doing her jazzercise essentially with them, rocking them side to side.
Yeah.
She starts spraying them
with lavender oil.
She claims it's lavender. I have a theory that this is nefarious. I think she's doing something, and I'm going to wrap it up at the end of the thing. So remember, I've said that I don't think she's just spraying for nothing and whatnot.
Because I feel like we learned something about Ains and Ralph in the mid scene with the dog.
We did, definitely, and that's something at the end that makes me think a lot about it. So, and everyone's had their suspicions about her.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we never see Ralph and stuff like that. But
I don't think the perfume's anything.
Maybe.
Because then she goes looking for... I think Dark it's more layer. I think it's more like old wives' tale stuff. Like, this will keep the baby's thing, and then apparently whiskey and honey, if you put it on baby's lips, that makes them, like, chill out.
Yeah, that's what the next thing
I just give them the whole bottle of Jack Daniels. It's much cheaper that way.
But that last bit at least could have been a whole bottle of Jack Daniels. Wow, that's I'm gonna try that on Isla. We'll see how that works. She does go look for. She says dark liquor afterwards. She's like, "Oh no, it's not for me. It's for the babies, of course, for the twins." What kind of a babysitter do you think I am?
She says it's for the boys, right? And then we see the baby stop crying, right? Vision's like, "Do you hear that?" And it's silence. Why is it silence? Because the boys are boys now.
Exactly.
They're not babies. They're not male babies. They're boys. They're like
the kids.
How old would you say?
5 years old.
Oh, yeah.
They suddenly stop and they go, "Do you hear that?" It's like, "What do you hear?" Absolutely nothing. They go over to look at the cots and there's nothing in there. And then all of a sudden they hear...
I was really worried at that scene, by the way.
Were you?
I was like, oh God, they've disappeared. Whoa.
And then they're like, "Mommy, Daddy," and they turn around and two fully grown 5-year-old boys are standing right there, looking adorable as hell, by the way.
Yeah, they're very cute.
Bloody adorable. And then Ains drinking her dark liquor.
They grow
on
up
the
so
side.
fast.
They grow up so fast, you just can't stop them. It's just so sad right there.
I love how Vision noticed her asking if she needed to do reshoots, but didn't notice that she didn't notice a 5-year time skip.
Yes, and she does mention that later. Wanda mentions that later, and it's just sort of like, and again, this adds to the whole everyone's suspicious of Ains now. Everyone's suspicious. I'm going to call her Agnes now because I think we've solidified the joke.
Yeah.
We've solidified the joke. It's Agnes. I got it wrong on the first episode. I get it.
So,
yes,
and this is potentially my favorite part of this episode.
Yes,
the new intro.
Yes,
with Baby Vision.
Yeah,
and Child Vision.
The most nightmare fuel god.
Dude, I spit my drink out laughing. It was so funny to me.
Just the tiniest baby with like a red head.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
What?
But also, do you know one of the reasons I think that scene that was included? Because I don't think the intros are there for us. I think they're there for the show.
Yeah.
Right. And later on, Vision's going to say something like, "I don't remember my time before Westview." And that's Wanda saying, well, look, you exist. You're a relatively normal person. You have some special abilities, but you're relatively normal. How does a relatively normal person come to existence? They have to be born.
Yeah.
So it's Baby Vision. You have to grow up. It's Child Vision. There's a young Vision, right?
Kids Vision, night Vision.
How does he know how to do stuff? He went to school.
Yeah.
Right? So that's Wanda's version of like, well, this must be the way that you came into being.
Yeah.
So I think you should watch the intros
as for them rather than for us.
Right, because it's her show is airing it.
Yeah.
So that's some of the stuff that we have to see, right?
At the beginning, I thought it was like they were like trying to be fun and stuff like that, but I think it is, like you said, more for them. The next scene, I think we cut to outside of the. We don't know what it's called yet. I'm not gonna say it yet. But, but the anomaly and whatnot.
The anomaly.
And we're with Monica. She's getting a scan done, and she's saying she's describing what her feelings were like being under the influence of Wanda's powers.
Yep.
She's like, it was excruciating. It felt like I was drowning.
She's a very talented actress.
She is very talented. There's one bit later that I'm going to mention that I don't think she sells quite right.
I think she sells everything pretty well, let's be honest.
I mean, I think there's a bit of rose tinted glasses.
I mean, I'm looking at my notes here, and they say she is by far the star of the show.
What, like right there?
Yeah, my notes.
No problem. Okay.
My notes I have written down in details, because her scenes are like the most complex. And they require the most talent, and she really is like the linchpin. She's the lodestone for the whole show. You know, when you build an arch, there's that one stone in the middle. If you move that stone, the whole arch collapses.
Everything collapses. Yeah.
Monica Dambo.
Exactly. That's probably that's
her.
Yeah.
So without her and her scenes, like, think about it, right? Seriously, think about it. She's the whole reason Sword come here.
True. Yeah.
She is the only person that went in and came back out.
True, yeah.
She is the only person that rocked that incredible afro.
Yes.
And I rest my argument.
I rest my case, good sir. Well, I have no argument to rebut that, because that is just, it's flawless.
I plead guilty to being a simp. Guilty.
She's getting an X-ray. She gets an X-ray and she gets some blood work done and stuff like that. Darcy and Agent Wu come in. They're like, "Hey, how you doing?" and whatnot. It's good to see you on your feet and whatnot. Darcy's like, "Hey, here's some clothes and whatnot." Pants are urged and whatnot. It's
what
really.
Does she say? She says pants are Encouraged.
That's the word. And it's like, Darcy, you're hilarious.
Darcy's pretty funny.
She's pretty funny. And just as they're about to go into the meeting room, the Dr. Marine chick comes along and she goes along.
Right.
She comes along and she says, sorry, we're going to have to take this x-ray again. Something's wrong with it.
It's come back blank.
Darcy's like, it's blank. It's like, yeah, we're going to have to do that. And she goes, what about her blood work? It's like, I'm going to have to redo your blood work as well. She's like, look, I got the bloody time for your day. I got shit to do today, Important woman right here. I got ejected out of that thing.
I'm kind of one of the main characters in the show.
To drive the whole show forward?
Both in the show and in the show.
Yeah.
So like, I need to further the plot. Excuse me.
Exactly. That's exactly what she said.
I actually have a question for you, though.
Go on.
Do you have any theories as to why her scans came back negative? Because the next scene is that she figures... No, wait.
It's a little bit further down, but right. You can talk about it if you want to.
Yeah, the kind of follow-on scene from this thing is that she realizes she came out wearing stuff, right? Yeah. And that... she goes and looks at the scans of it, and it's the same stuff she went in. It's just been like removed. So instead of creating stuff out of nothing, which is like Big Bang levels of energy, right? Yeah. What Wanda / whatever is going on here is doing is taking what she's given. It's like the ingredients to a cake. She's given the ingredients, and she has like flour and dough and eggs and sugar and stuff, and ends up with a cake in the end, like a big afro-y, incredible, flared-legged cake. Right,
it just changes anything that goes in and it comes out, right?
Yeah, so in particular, the afro is the most important.
Afro is the most important.
That's the thing that we need to focus on right here.
I can't remember what her hair was like when she went in.
Who cares?
Anyway, so yeah, when she comes back out, she goes and has a look at her clothes, and they're made of like, 97% Kevlar.
She shoots them. She's like, I have a theory, Agent. Can I borrow your like
bang, bang, bang? Yeah. Let me just unload this firearm in here.
No, like nobody worry. This isn't like a shooting happening.
It wasn't even a fire in the hole. It wasn't anything. It was just bang, bang, bang.
Also, no check to see what's behind it. What if there's a dude working at a computer just bang, bang, bang?
Oh, dunk. Don't worry about it. I went into this thing and came back out. It's fine. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. Sheps thinks I'm the best character. Don't worry about it.
It's not me. It's not an opinion.
Oh, okay. It's a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Based on your notes.
On my notes.
Yeah, okay.
My notes clearly say here she's basically number 2 on the call sheet.
Yeah.
Wanda drives the show. Monica is the bridge for the audience into the show.
Vision's nothing. Yeah.
Vision is the driving force, the motivation for Wanda, but he's not. He's like 3rd on the call sheet.
Okay. Anyway, so they go into the meeting.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm sad I didn't say this in the beginning, but
we called it. Douche Lord's a freaking
the guy is
straight,
obviously a bad guy.
Yeah, he's straight a Hydra agent.
Exactly. It's like it's almost a carbon copy of the S.H.I.E.L.D. director, who was also a bad guy.
Ridiculous.
I was like, what was the point?
He might as well be just like taller director version of the guy that gets into the lift with Cap.
Yes.
And all those mercenaries. He's that much of a weasel.
So bad. Anyway, he's there with Agent Wu and all the other people that are there. And Agent Wu gives the rundown essentially of what we're dealing with. Starts talking about Maximoff, starts talking about everything. Starts talking about, Wanda was doing this, and
she doesn't have any
sort of
monikers, nicknames.
Not like Captain America, Iron Man. It's like, are you sure she's got no like nickname or anything like that?
Yes, none.
I thought he was trying to be funny for a second, but then I was like, what is going on?
I'm wondering if he hadn't, by that point, he's kind of clocked that Douche Lord is trying to gaslight Wanda here.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, she's not completely innocent. Hands aren't completely clean. Like, what he says is true.
Yeah.
But that's like the best lies contain a lot of truth. You just admit some of the other bits.
Exactly.
Like, he doesn't include the teaming up with the Avengers and saving the world and soloing Thanos twice.
We tries to lay out like some of the most important stuff, like what's happened and whatnot. And douchebag over here starts going down and goes, well, also in Lagos and in Germany she was attributed for all these deaths over here, so she's basically a terrorist. And Monica's like, I wouldn't call her a terrorist. I mean, she's definitely grieving, she's definitely done some like questionable stuff, but terrorist is a bit too much.
Well, also she specifically says like she isn't there's no political agenda here.
Exactly.
That's actually a really important distinction.
Kinda.
Like, really important.
But then he kinda comes out with a solid point, and he's like, you told us in your description of how you feel about being under the influence of Wanda's control, excruciating, terrifying. Ah, shit, you got me there. Fuck.
This reminds me. This is the show version. Bill Burr has this line. Do you know this joke?
No.
He's like, he was beefing out with some feminist in the crowd. I think he's like, no doesn't mean no, right? No, that means no. But like, no, stop it. That doesn't mean no.
True.
Right? But then you get a bad court reading, and Your Honor, it says no, stop it. You're so bad.
Ooh.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Ooh,
right.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what this guy's doing. He's the bad court reading.
It's like, to your words, and I quote, terrorizing. Ooh. Oof. And she's just like, yeah, okay.
I mean, I did say it, but like, maybe read the sentence before and after as well.
It's like the Iron Man 2 court reading where they're like, so can you read specific paragraph of the Iron Man suit? And it's like,
yeah,
because it doesn't. Hey, I wrote the whole quote out, but you know what I mean. Anyway, they're talking about that, but then Agent Wu tries to defend. It's like, yeah, then she gained the trust of the Avengers. She then joined them. She is an Avenger. She can't be a bad person.
Thanos.
But then the douchebag's like, that'll be your agent. We pushed him to the side.
Yeah, he's gaslighting. Yeah.
Anyway.
Do you know what's worse? Is he's going to turn out to be a totally legit guy.
I bet you.
And they hate it. They're going to take away the best thing about the show, which is hating this guy.
And all of
the
us
second best thing, obviously.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm referring back to my notes. It's the second best thing.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, they're gonna do it, and you just know it's gonna be one of those things where it's like, they had to turn all this hate into that.
He then, like, to sort of win the argument, rolls the tape.
Yes.
You guys are too young for that. You wouldn't get that. He plays some footage.
On something called a tape.
Frickin' Zoomers. Just saying that made my back hurt, my hips ache.
Exactly.
And it's I guess that deleted scene. It's Wanda breaking into, not S.H.I.E.L.D., SWORD.
Yes, like 9 days ago, broke into a top secret SWORD facility.
Is it just 9 days?
Yeah, 9 days ago, apparently. 9 days ago, broke into a top secret SWORD facility where Vision's body was being held.
Yeah. They call him The Vision.
The Vision, yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's like property. I don't know, man.
It's kind of like the Batman kind of works. The Vision doesn't work at all. Yeah. It sounds bad.
Anyway, she apparently broke in and stole Vision's body.
Yeah. What was left of it? It wasn't in one piece. It looks like it
was in pieces. Yeah. Like they were trying to.
How did they get it apart?
It's vibranium, right?
It's an entire vibranium.
Just before we get into that, apparently there was a will put in place by Vision. Vision apparently put a will in place to say that he didn't want to his body to fall into the wrong hands, so it wouldn't be used as a weapon or anything like that. That's why apparently SWORD took him.
Right.
And I choose to believe that they were disassembling him, so it'd be like nothing visible, nothing possible to be used in the future.
Okay.
That's what I assume. But what happened in phase 1 of the Avengers back in the day when they found those Hydra weapons and stuff like that? They kept them for themselves and they tried to make nuclear warheads of them.
And also Hydra ended up with them in the end.
Exactly. So this could have been another one of those moments.
Also, a little bit of me is like, okay, Vision left a will. If my computer leaves a will, but I want to use it for my porn computer.
It's like, just do me one thing.
Take me off.
Don't go to smalldicksfatchicks.com again before that. Oh, okay.
Just don't save useFlashlights.com to my favorites, you know? Just use an incognito window. No, I don't think I will.
Anyway, apparently that's what happened. And everyone just sort of like, shit, that's...
Oh, frick.
Wu says as well, apparently there's a Sokovia Accord or something like some agreement, a treaty, where they say they won't...
Taking his body breaks the Sokovia Accords or something like that.
That's it. And that kind of paints her in a bad light. Then it looks more like she's doing
also
really
keeping thousands of people hostage in her own chosen reality is also not exact. I did like that. We was like, oh, okay, that one's pretty bad. That was pretty bad. That one pretty, yeah. Ooh.
Anyway, they get that done, and Vision. So I wrote down Vision didn't rise. Okay, so we cut back to the show.
Yes,
and we're in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Tommy and Billy are hiding something. They're talking something in the sink that's full of bubbles, and Mum walks in. And they turn around, they're blocking the sink and whatnot. And she's like, look, I know you guys I didn't enjoy the crying and you're not crying anymore, but did you have to start walking and running so much?
Right.
And she kind of gets suspicious for a second. And I have to say, here, she does play the mum so well.
She does play a good mum, but
she's like, scoot. And then they move out of the way.
It's very much the show.
And a doggo's waiting for them there.
And also it's a very cute dog.
Cute dog.
I have a big beef with this.
Go on.
And she kind of addresses it in the scene where they find the dog after it runs away.
Yeah.
She's missed a ton of their first moments.
Yeah.
That's like a really big deal to parents, isn't it?
Like,
you, recent parent, you've been telling me about like her first squeaks and like, well, you think she laughed. It counts. Like you think it counts, right?
Yeah.
Or like she made enough noise close enough that you're calling it a word.
Yeah.
It's not even close to a word. But like all these different firsts, right? And your chick's phone, that camera roll is full of the exact same video.
Yeah.
Taken 15 times. It's like hours of the same thing.
Yeah.
Imagine missing her real first words.
Yeah.
Or her first steps. Or her first crawl.
She's missed all of that.
Right. And these kids are 52 minutes old.
Yeah.
Also, the house changed. Why no one ever clocked that?
No one's ever saying anything about the house changing, especially because like stairs pop out of nowhere and then they disappear and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm assuming that they go into different physical houses in the place, but like I guess if she's changing stuff in reality, she could make a house look like it's a 70s thing. Because I was going to say the real estate value of this place, where it's got like houses from the 60s, houses from the 50s.
Strange. The range is really strange.
Right.
Anyway, she gets the dog and she tries to tell the kids, like teach them a lesson. It's like, look, you guys can't keep a dog. A dog needs food. A dog needs like training. A dog needs belly rubs and lots of cuddles. And then it basically
she gives in.
We're gonna keep these. But then Vision pops in and he's dressed all smartly and Wanda's like, why are you dressed up so smartly, huh? It's like, I don't know why, I just got the feeling that someone would be coming over, because he's also got his skin on, not the red
right. I think that's what she's talking about when she says why you dressed. I think she means why are you human, not red.
And guess who pops over
at the appointed time? Ains
pops. You said it this time.
With exactly the thing they need.
And it's just a doghouse. And it's like, my kitchen window told me that you guys just got yourselves a new pooch. And it's like, this is all just... And Vision's getting suspicious. Like,
also, this is like an American suburb. So while they are neighbours, they're not like we're in the UK. A lot of houses are semi-detached, which means there's at least one shared wall.
Yeah.
These guys have like 10 to 20 feet between...
I love it because like the window's like this big. I could see it from across the way.
Right.
That you have a new dog, and she happens to also have a doghouse as well.
And Vision is starting to notice that she turns up at the exact same time. She turns up whenever something is needed with the thing that is needed.
Yeah.
And it's starting to like something smells off.
Yeah. And is it before or after where she tells them like I think they speak to Vision. She speaks to Vision. It's like, no, you can't have a dog. You need to be way more older and responsible. You need to be at least 10 years old. And the kids just look at each other and they're like, grow another 5 years. And
so
no one seems the wiser. I mean... Agnes is there. She doesn't say anything. Everyone just seems to be okay.
The thing with Vision,
right,
when he wakes up in Age of Ultron,
he's
powered by the Mind Stone, right, and he's a copy of a bot, like he's a fully ready adult body powered by the power of thinking or something, whatever the Mind Stone represents in like the creation of the universe. So I'm accepting. Also, melded with Jarvis, right? There's an adult personality ready to go into an adult body. These kids are like a day and a half old, and now they're 10.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was thinking, that there's probably going to be some ramifications from kids growing up that quickly and not having the life experiences of everything like that.
I kind of hope there is.
Yeah, because it makes it interesting, right?
Yeah. I would like to see some, like, presumably they're fairly powerful.
Yeah.
But they're also really naive. I'd like to see that play.
Yeah.
Once we deal with whatever this is going to be.
Exactly. Vision, the dog apparently goes off and they're like trying to name the dog. Like, what should we name the dog? And they come up with some names. But then the dog randomly sticks its snout in an outlet.
To get the naming event of calling it Spark or Sparky.
They're like, how about we call it Sparky? Like, no one, that's like, that's so funny. The dog nearly killed itself.
Yeah.
Does anybody care?
It's the next scene, right, where the dog electrocutes itself.
Yeah.
The weird, creepy laugh track rolls at a dog basically killing itself, which it luckily didn't.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, hard cut to
I think she
outside.
does one thing between where she magically makes a collar appear.
Oh yeah.
Right in front of Ains, and Vision's like, "What are you doing? You can't use your ability in front of me."
That's right. I really like this scene.
And she's like, "Don't worry about it." Like
she didn't even notice.
Agnes didn't even notice when the kids grew up 5 years and whatnot. So how are they going to notice that and whatnot? It's like,
I love
but you're being less considerate and whatnot. We're supposed to be hiding. And she's like, "Why should I have to hide anymore?"
I love how
Why?
Vision is not so wound up about she's doing something she could have got caught. It's like, we agreed that we were going to try and live a certain way, and like you're getting away from that.
Yeah.
Like it's all like we set these rules for how our marriage would be, and now you're doing things that we didn't.
Different.
Yeah, I like that. In this scene, to him, that's the most important thing. It's not the creepy fact that Ains I'm calling her Ains now. That Agnes keeps coming round. It's not like his kids have grown up a decade in the space of 4 days from conception. Right? It's that we agreed to live a certain way, and you just risked that
entirely.
Yeah, and also it's not just them; it's you risked that and the kids.
Yeah.
I really like that scene.
Yeah. And then it is that hard cut. We go to the sword camp, and I love this because Jimmy Woo's walking in with his coffees. Yeah. The guy's got such a smile on his face. He's so happy to be bringing his friends coffee. He's like, "Hey, I'm working in the big world, you know, these
he's
guys
got
are
that.
big deals." And one is like,
he's got puppy energy in it.
Yes, he's so goddamn happy. I love it. And Monica's in there, and she's theorizing with Darcy, just talking about, so theoretically...
I'm referring back to my notes here.
Yes.
And it looks like really intelligent women also are like a big factor in where they go in the call sheet.
Yes, there you go.
It's really good.
She starts bringing up some words, just like, if I have a cadmium lined lab with another type of element, then theoretically I could enter the anomaly, right? And it's like, yeah, okay, I can work with that.
Yeah.
And she's like looking at
doesn't she give a weight of it? It's like 200,000 tons or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's like, it's not feasible even if you could get it here.
Exactly. And Darcy goes after her. She's like, even if you could get in there, if you could guarantee your safety and get into the hex. That's right, she does say hex. She's like, I can't guarantee that you won't be mind wiped when you go inside there, because that's a whole different thing.
Wait, isn't that the point of the bubble thing though?
I don't know if it just means it will change or whatever, but anyway, she says that, and that's part of the thing.
Also, I don't know if you know this, but a hex is a kind of spell that witches do, and she's the Scarlet Witch.
Get it?
But it's 6-sided.
Do you get it?
Which it's 6-sided, and 6 is hexagon. Because it's a hexagon, it's not a sphere.
Hex
for short, but it's also a pun. And that's funnier because we explained it now.
Exactly. Jokes are always funnier when you explain
It's
them.
true.
So they start talking to her about the Infinity Stone and how she got her powers and stuff like that.
Wanda
got her powers. And then they go,
I was thinking, like, she's not got any powers.
Oh, you're talking
Monica.
about the only character that you ever think
of.
Okay. Yeah, Wanda.
Referring to my notes, I'm pretty sure she has no powers.
Just double check for me if you could.
Except the control of my attention.
There you go. That is a pretty special power.
Yeah.
Wanda has this power, and it came from the one of the Infinity Stones. It's like, also, Captain Marvel, she got her powers from the Infinity Stone, right? And Monica has this moment where she's just sort of like, we're not talking about Captain Marvel, we're talking about Wanda right now.
It's a really well delivered scene by the best actress in the show. And mainly, I think it's because it gets back to her dead mum. And her dead mum is 24 hours ago came out of surgery and perfectly healthy, and the cancer was gone. Right, like, she's still new to this whole my mum's dead.
Yeah.
And she wasn't, because she just came out of surgery before the snapping. Right? And also, like, they have an involvement with Captain Marvel, right? Does she know Captain Marvel?
She must know Captain Marvel, because at least in Captain Marvel movie, as a kid, she does talk to her. And she does mess around with her, have some fun, but she's a kid, so I don't know how long. I'm guessing she's had an interaction with her. Anyway,
and it's kind of gonna be the one big name drop your mum has. Exactly. It's like, oh, I met on Drake.
Exactly.
Like, I met Captain Marvel. So
Captain Marvel
flies through space and can like punch Thanos in the face.
Went through Thanos' ship. You know?
That was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was pretty cool.
Anyway, she suddenly Monica, they're talking about stuff, and they're talking about how things get altered when they go through the hex, and how things get changed. And then for that moment, a light bulb goes off in her head, and that's where she goes to go see her clothes that are 97% Kevlar, and she goes to shoot them.
Right. The missing piece of the puzzle, I think, is Darcy says that she's not creating stuff. Yes. That would be like, she's never displayed anything close to that kind of level of like power or that kind of ability. Yeah. So she must be playing with like the clay that she's got to mold, right? Exactly. So she's moving stuff around. Like, you came out, you're still you, but like your hair was different, your clothes were different. Yeah. But there was nothing like new, it was just changed. Something exactly. That's the implication. It was something like that.
And she goes and looks at her clothes and realizes that this was my Kevlar top, Kevlar bodysuit that I was wearing. Body armor, that's the word I was looking for. Kevlar body armor, and that's what this is turned into and whatnot. And then they have the moment where they're like, what if we send something into the hex that doesn't? And I
think she puts everybody at risk first by shooting. But she's a go-getter. This is what the number one, not FBI, sword agent would do, is without explaining to anybody, because she's a bad bitch. She don't need no man. She just pulls her gun. She borrows somebody's gun so that if anybody looks at the bullets, it's not her ass that's on the line.
Smart.
That's right. She's cagey. She's smart. Go. She should bring the afro back.
This is the best joke ever. I swear
it's
to God.
It's not even a joke. I'm 100%. I'm referring back to my notes. It's her best look.
After she does that, she realizes, she's like, what if we send something in that doesn't require any changing? So something that fits with the time that she's doing in the show and whatnot. So
I literally wasn't paying attention to that scene. I was just looking at her. I'm not even joking. I didn't figure out why they had used an old drone until...
So I just said it.
Yeah. I was like, I don't get where the drone came from, how it made it in, but like...
Why are they using that?
But this scene was great. She's a real go-getter. That makes a lot more sense. Wait.
There you go. Anyway, let's move on because we're going to be stuck on this for too long.
Quickly explain that to me. So why does she need the thing from the 80s?
So basically, she reckons, the theory is that when you put something in that's not of that time, it changes to whatever time it is. But if you put something that is of that time, it doesn't require any changing.
So it would stick around. Okay.
I don't know how the signal thing works, but it doesn't.
Damn, she's smart.
She's so smart. It must be her great character.
It is her great character.
Anyway,
I suspect the afro is actually her head and it's holding in that big brain.
It's all brain in there.
That's right.
Don't ever shave it off then.
Oh, God.
So we then cut to Vision's work. Computer Systems over here.
That's right. Yeah.
Great name. And Vision's setting up the brand new 80s computers and the internet that they've got there. And... is it Norm is one of the work friends he has, and is basically trying to explain to a person who's never had email before, never had the internet, what email is.
We've already got an email. What are you looking for, Norm? Oh, a letter opener.
A letter opener. It's so
Laugh
funny.
Track rolls.
Yeah, exactly. And then he says other things like, if I'm going to send an email, where do I put the stamp?
Oh, God, I hate him. He's so perfect at playing that, like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just happy to not be working while at work. Yeah. Sitcom side character whose name you know, but isn't like hardly there.
Yeah. Calabunga dude, he also says that as well at one point.
No, he doesn't. No, he didn't.
He does.
Say that?
Jeff definitely does. Anyway, they get an email and Vision goes to read it. But as he reads it, everyone in unison reads out the email in the room. Yeah. It's very creepy.
It's he starts reading it.
I've got silently. The email if you want. Yeah, he's just sort of like...
And then Norm starts reading. It's like, from Sword to Agent Lebowski.
Top secret communicate, authenticate. Dr. Darcy Luce's findings regarding Maximoff anomaly. High levels of radiation present at the perimeter. Effect on Westview. Residents unknown. Please advise. And they laugh it off.
Well, so they all read out this... No one else can be seeing it, right? They all read in unison with Norm.
Yeah.
And then they laugh. There's like this weird awkward pause. And then they laugh as if it was the joke. Ha, that's a good one.
Oh, it's just the office joke. You're the office joker, Vision. Why don't you guys
That's right. And what are we going to say? What are we going to reply? I would love to see them reply.
What would you reply? And then he touches the monitor with his two fingers and there's like a yellow spark on it. And then it goes off and he's like, what's going on? And he looks at Norm and Norm's saying more weird stuff, in tune with the TV show.
It's just a joke.
And then he touches Norm on the head, and it's almost like he resets him for a second, and Norm snaps out of the reality. He goes back to himself. He's like, what day is it? What time is it? What's going on? It's like, I've got to find my phone. I've got to call my mom. She's sick. It was like that. You have to stop her. You have to stop her. She's controlling everything. None of my thoughts are my own. Puts him back into it.
Is it him, or does the reality take over control?
He puts him back.
Okay.
It's almost like
he's like, damn, bitch. I asked how you're doing. I didn't even want the life story. I didn't want to know everybody's lines.
I don't need to know the fucking time of what day it is.
How was your day, honey? Your answer is good or bad. Done.
And he puts him back under.
Yeah.
But almost like he got the information that he needs to confront Wanda about this. That's the cause of it. He's managed to figure something out.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's taken that information and he goes, okay. Anyway, they have a little more laugh track right there. And then they go back home. And the kids are working with the dog to try and teach it some tricks.
That's right,
like spin round.
Mum's pretending she cares, sat on the sofa like, oh, isn't that good, honey?
Great stuff right there. And the dog learns a few tricks. And the kids are like, I have to go and show Dad. And they go and run off towards the kitchen. And Wanda's like, Dad's at work, honey.
Right.
It's like, but it's Saturday. It's like, no, it's not. It's Monday. It's like,
these kids are really surprisingly switched on for being 12 seconds old.
It's like, yesterday was Friday. Today's Saturday. It's like, oh, he just had to go into work to just finish up a few things. He needed a distraction.
It was an emergency. She goes, it was an emergency, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, he needed a distraction.
It's like a couple of things. And it's like,
a distraction from what? And then this is the best bit about them. She's like, a distraction from us, and they get really sad.
Emotional,
Which is pretty good. It's actually really well written. That is exactly what kids might think, especially if they were 12 minutes old. And don't know why I'm saying 12 all the time. 12 seconds, 12 minutes.
They're about that old anyway.
I'm referring back to my notes, and I can't remember why I care about these kids.
So just they're not really the important part of the show.
True.
Are they?
It's true. We need to get back to the driving force of this show.
Outside of the Hex.
That's right.
I'll tell you something. Yeah. Where she says he needed a distraction, do you think she's on a level being honest with the kids? She means he needed a distraction from what he was seeing
from
going
figuring
on,
out the world isn't real.
And I created that in this reality, but the kids obviously don't know, but she knows that they're real.
So I think she's both being honest, but at the same time, I think she knows she's not fully in control of this thing. So I do think she's being swept away with the current. Something here is causing like the specific, like the major plot points to unravel.
Yeah.
But within that, she has control of how they get there, but they're always going to get where they are going.
Yeah.
And she knows she's along for the ride, but she's with Vision, man, and they're having a family. Like, she'll pick this. She picks it. She's not in control, but who's in control? Who's ever in control of their life?
Yeah.
And prior to this, when she was in control of her life, what happened? She was a victim of not a terrorist attack. Would you call it a freedom fighting, America freedoming Sokovia or whatever it was?
Freedoming a Sokovia,
right?
Yeah.
I guess they had oil. So she's the victim of a Stark missile explosion killing her family.
Yeah.
She gets recruited into the terrorist organization thanks to Douche Lord reminding us of that.
Yes, yeah.
And then she ends up. Yes, she's an Avenger, but the whole time, like, she's never in control of her actions. She goes where the baddies are.
She's around chaos all the time.
Right,
and chaos happens.
She is the reaction to the chaos. So she's never in control of her life anyway. At least this time, she is more in control of her immediate world. She's with Vision and the kids. Like,
that's all she really cares about.
So I think she's kind of being honest, but she's trying to tell them, like, he needed a distraction, so it's okay that he's gone.
She has to break it down as well.
Without
parents
fully.
Sometimes don't always be on the same page, but what matters is that we love each other, we love you guys, and family is above everything else. She specifically says family above everything else.
It's true.
And at that moment, the kids ask as well. It's like, because she says like, he's always going to be your brother, and he's always yours. Do you have a brother, Mum? It's like, I do. We haven't seen each other in a long time and whatnot, and sometimes that makes me sad. Yeah, she doesn't say he's dead.
Yeah, because she doesn't want to break death to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then right at that moment, Sparky goes and is like growling at the door, and it's like, what's going on over there?
I don't remember her not. I do kind of remember this, but I feel like this is foreshadowing now, because the very next thing where she won't tell the kids about death, Sparky runs up to the door.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sparky goes up to the door. They open up the door. Sparky runs out immediately, and that is the moment where we cut back to the outside camp and sort of tandem in between, where there is a drone being flown in by your favorite, the driving force of the show.
Yeah, basically the main character. Some would say. I think it's actually been they were going to go with Monica Vision.
Monica Vision, yeah.
But then they were like, well, Vision's one of the other characters' names, so if we turn it to WandaVision, then it's kind of like a pun. It's like both of their names.
Exactly.
But it's actually, the Vision, the audience getting to visualize Monica's character arc.
Exactly.
That's what the show's really about.
I agree. That's probably what happened.
I think that's how it went.
She's piloting this drone. And she's going,
which, by the way,
there.
does not fly the way a drone flies. It does like this. It does what our kind of drones do.
Yeah, it was very cinematic. That's what it was right there. She's flying it in, and she manages to locate Wanda.
Yes.
And on the TV show as well, you can see she's walking outside and she's looking up into the sky. You can't see the drone in the shot, but you can see from the drone's perspective that she's looking up. And she tries to communicate with Wanda. She's like, Wanda, we're trying to help you. We need to get you out of this. We need to close down this reality.
Does she hear it?
No.
Okay, I didn't think
At
so.
least I don't think so anyway, because she doesn't react in that way. But all you do see, even though it's black and white vision from the drone anyway, you see red eyes. And just as that's about to happen, douchebag, mofo, sword, exactly that guy, tells to disregard Monica's orders to recalibrate something like that because she loses control of the drone. And it goes, open fire. And this is the bit that I think is really bad on Monica's part. She's very naive in this moment. She goes, what? The drone isn't armed? It's like, clearly there's something else going on here. You're supposed to be really smart. And she goes, the drone isn't armed. And right behind is another guy in full military outfit. Seems to have the same
weapons version.
Target locked. And it's just sort of like, and apparently he takes a shot. But the screen cuts out. We don't see anything. And then all of a sudden, perimeter breach, someone's killing the perimeter. Everyone rushes outside. A huge Navy SEALs team with their guns and whatnot. They are all outside pointing at a part of the perimeter that's flickering.
Yeah, it's flickering. You can see the shadow outline of a person. It's actually really ominous. I really dig it.
Really cool. And she comes out. Wanda comes out in her full Scarlet Witch outfit. With her same coloured hair from before. And she's got the drone. She throws the drone. She's like, is this yours? Throws it out there.
I'm going to say this straight up. She doesn't actually throw the drone. Because she doesn't have super strength. If you notice, it's glowing red. She throws with her power.
Uses her ability.
Because I watched and I was like, Wanda Maximoff does not have superhuman strength. She's a psychic. She's
really
a psychic.
Yeah.
She can fight Thanos. Oh yeah, it's okay.
We got it.
It's a psychic. Got it.
She goes out, and something here I really love. She pops into her Wanda Maximoff voice.
She's
perfectly. She's like it's child's play.
Because she's playing
a great actress.
She's playing middle American mum.
Yes.
On an American TV show. But that's not who Wanda Maximoff is. Wanda Maximoff is a Sokovian national, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And she comes out, it's like, and she's the little things I can't even do that accent. She's so good at.
I agree.
And she basically breaks down. She's like, I'm only going to give you this warning once. Leave me alone. And it's like you can't blame us for what we did. You hold all these people hostage and whatnot.
Mr. Douche Canoe says the missile was just in case. First things first.
It's like
a precaution which you used a post caution then.
Yes,
like just a straight up you just used it. And also, I actually think she should have killed him. I would have written that Wanda kills him here, but on this, because
it would have cemented her being a villain though.
I don't think she's a villain.
Yeah, that's the thing. It would have cemented her. But
I also think you could write this where she isn't a villain either. How many mothers do you know that are going to have a reasonable discussion with someone that threw a missile at her and her children, who lost her family to a missile? As a child.
She almost did all of that stuff in Avengers Age of Ultron because of Tony Stark bomb that was near them that didn't go off. If that had gone off and killed loads of it, killed Pietro, for example, all hell would have broken loose. Anyway, it gets really quite cool here and quite dark. Monica tries to reason with her, tries to be really
so Wanda talks to the main character.
So the main character, exactly. And it's like, what can you have to offer me? She's got like her red glow in her hand behind and whatnot, almost like cocking a gun. And
so here's the thing. She recognizes Monica now.
Yeah. And she says as well, it's like, you allowed me to deliver your babies. On some level, you must know that I'm an ally.
Outside of the hex, Wanda's Wanda again. She's fully Wanda. Like, I do think while she's inside, although she's choosing to like sort of kind of give up full control, and she does choose to go back into it, she isn't completely in control. She's kind of along for the ride. She's mostly in the driving seat, or whatever you call it.
Driver's seat, yeah.
Yeah. But she's also along for the ride. Whatever's causing this thing, she's kind of along for the ride. And she says that, right? Like, that's Monica's argument, which is like, you're out, you're you now. While you were in there, you knew I wasn't from there, and you let me deliver your babies. You chose me, a sword agent.
You must believe that I'm an ally.
Right.
And also she says one thing that I feel like is very good to prove that she's... Not prove, but puts her more on the friend side. She goes like, you have no idea what I want. So it's like, what could you have to help me? What could you have to offer me? Yeah. And then Monica just says like, well, what do you want? Like, says it in such a polite way, such a nice way. It's like, what do you want? We'll do it.
Yeah,
we'll
I'm the main character of the show. I'll make it happen.
And she just, at the end of the day, she uses her powers to mind control all of the guys with all their guns and their green lasers.
Yeah.
And immediately turns it around to douchebag McDouche.
Yeah.
And he shits his pants. He's like, oh, stand down. Oh, stand down. No.
That'll work.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the other 1,000 people in there, they just decided, we'll go with the flow.
Exactly.
These sitcoms are good fun. We'll just see how it pans out.
See how it goes. Anyway, they just go, oh, write that down. And then she gives her final warning. It's like, leave me and my family alone.
Yeah.
This is your final warning. She goes back over to the hex. Before she goes in, uses her powers and what looks like puts up a protective bubble so like nothing could presumably get in, as well as the bubble.
I was looking for a face.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see it. Maybe someone will find a frame where it looks like there's a
We've
face.
Got Mario now in the chat. He's like, I found it, guys, and it's got horns. It's Mephisto, right?
Like, I was looking for some like ominous shape, facey shape, demon-y shape in there. I didn't see it, but I was so expecting it to be there and be like our first hint, because as we start to realize that she's also not fully in control.
Yeah.
And also Darcy says like she's never shown these kinds of abilities before, the amount of power to do even what we think she's doing, let alone what we thought she was doing, where she's like creating stuff.
Much more than we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's more. It's on the level of Infinity Stones, right? Yeah. And we know she's powered by one, but doesn't have one, which is a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
So how's this happening suddenly? I mean, might not be Hydra. It's probably trauma bleeding over into those ads. I'm guessing that.
The next thing that pops up, which is literally after that, is that we get the Lagos advert, which is just hilarious. By the way, it's just like a paper towel advert.
It's about cleaning up your messes.
Cleaning up your messes around. It can clean up even the biggest messes. Yeah. Lagos. Even your husband can use it, and there's all this kind of stuff like that. And it seems like it's trauma, right? That's what it seems like.
That's what I think. It's her like getting to take charge of the things that went wrong and then like rewrite them so they didn't go wrong. So she cleans up her messes. Strucker is just a guy who she spent some time with, right, with the watch,
and caused all those problems caused her to become who she is now with all the experiments.
Right, exactly.
And the bomb thing at the beginning with like the Stark toaster and stuff like that. Yeah, it seems that way. But like you said, Hydra's been through everything, and in the background and everything, it could come back.
You're wrong. It's not Hydra. It's definitely Mephisto. I've said it since the beginning. It's definitely Mephisto, and Monica's going to find a way to defeat him.
Monica will save everyone.
She's saved my soul already.
The very next scene, they're going down the road. They're looking for Sparky. Sparky's still on the loose somewhere.
Yeah.
Because after that situation, they walk past the postman, and the postman's like, "Hey guys, what are you doing?" It's like, "We're looking for Sparky." It's like, "Don't worry, your mum won't let him get too far." Isn't that right? And for a moment, I was like, "Oh shit! Oh
wow!
Oh,
like ooh,
that's dark."
You just stuck your foot right in the mess there.
It's like, ooh, okay, yeah, she won't let him get far.
But she...
Not let anyone get far.
She doesn't address that, though.
She doesn't, no. She just continues going on forward there. I guess she's more interested in the dog because it's important to the kids.
Yes, their papa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then right then, Agnes finds Sparky dead in a bush.
What she actually finds is a bundle of rags because you can't show dead dog on TV.
It's Disney as well. Anyway, she goes, I wanted to...
You can show murders, but not dead dog.
I wanted to wrap him up.
Imagine this goes like John Wanda. Wanda Wick.
You did what?
Right.
It's gung fu all over.
Literally, it's her fingers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's like, I wanted to wrap up the dog before the kids saw, because she apparently ate lots of leaves and whatnot. It's like a
poison bush or something. Yeah.
So I didn't want the kids to see anything. It's like, what happened? And then the kids are just like, what happened? What happened to Sparky? And then eventually it breaks down to the point where they're like, you can bring the dog back, right?
No, there's another thing just before that. Their first response is we have this traumatic event. Let's age past it. Let's grow up past having to deal with this thing.
Yes.
Right?
And she tries to stop them.
She's like, you can't grow up. You can't like skip past all your problems. Sometimes you just have to deal with them. Also, I like the idea that she's a mum, but she doesn't want to be the mum of two like 20 or 30-year-olds. She wants to have her kids be her kids for a bit. Yeah. And then they do what you were saying.
Exactly. So that she's like trying to give them a speech and whatnot. So I'm saying you can't just like age past your problems. You can't like walk away from like death, and you can't change things and whatnot. But the kids are like, you can change death. And then Agnes says like, you can do that?
Yeah.
That's the first time that she seems to have addressed it directly.
Yeah. She's like, wait, you can do that? Which, I mean, I think that's an actual Ralph reference.
So I'll explain what I think that means in a second. She goes, you can't reverse death, and she has a whole speech about it.
I have an even darker theory.
We'll have a look at whether one. Does it fit now? Do you want to say it now, or should we wait? Go on.
I think the kids, when they say you can do that, they know that they're not in like reality. And I think they see corpse vision the whole time.
Ooh.
I think they don't see the illusion. I think they see reality. They know what their mum's doing. And when Wanda like slips and dead vision is going to be acting, they're not going to react to it because that's how they see him the whole time. And it's going to be dark and creepy as fuck.
Yeah. That could be a twist.
That could be a real twist. They're going to run up. He's going to come home while she's like stressed and she's like lost it. And they're going to run over and cuddle him because he's dad.
That's the way they've seen him the whole time. It's like, this must be my dad.
Yeah, and that scene's going to frick everyone up. Even me when I see it, because it was super creepy scene.
Even for that moment that we saw bad. Corpse vision, I was like, yeah. Anyway, that could be quite scary.
So.
But then she goes and gives the whole thing. It's like, sometimes we have to like deal with it. We can't run away from it. We can't change things like death.
You can't change death no matter how sad.
And it's really, really, really perfect that this is what she's saying, because that's exactly what she's doing in this whole reality.
And in that moment, she says something like, we can't bring him back or something like that. And in that moment, Vision, bring back who?
Walks right in there.
Oof.mov.
And then,
or is it MOV? I don't know how you're supposed to say this lots.
And then Vision sees the dog and it's like, oh, kids. Them close and want to.
He does the dad thing, like
with his trousers up to here.
Does he have suspenders on? I think he does.
You don't see them in this because he's got a jacket on, but later on when he's washing his hands, you like see it. It's like anyway. And then we cut back to the house, right?
Yeah.
And this is where things really start to fall apart. Vision walks in, starts washing his hands, and he almost starts to strike up a conversation. But he automatically interrupts Wanda when she's speaking and says, I spoke to Norm today. It's like, I spoke to him without the suppressed personality that you put in, without any of your oversight. He's hurting Wanda. He's really suffering and he has a family.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you talking about? It's like, I don't know anything about Norm and whatnot. Tries to blow him off. But he's directly speaking, not, I don't know what's going on. Directly speaking to her and saying exactly what she's doing. This is huge.
It's an unscripted discussion, and she tries to get things back on track. So like she goes to walk out the room. She's like, I'm tired, blah, blah.
Even tries to roll credits to end the show so she can finish it.
Right. And it's not just like end the discussion. It's like previously, it's like Vision, get back to your scripted behaviors. Yeah. And he goes, no, like we're not done talking about this. You're hurting people or something like that. It's a really good discussion. It not transgresses it. It moves into the living room.
And that's when like the credits disappear.
So they're running in the kitchen. It's a great visual.
She's like, it's just like she just turns around, and that's where the credits start rolling. It's like, oh,
it's very much no, we're not talking about it. We're not arguing. I'm having a go at you now, honey, for bringing this thing up. It's that normal dynamic we're familiar with. And then he's like, no. We need to talk about this.
Yeah.
You have lots of people under mind control. He says that thing you said earlier. It's like, I thought it was subconscious to begin with.
Yeah, I have to believe at some point this was all subconscious.
That's right.
But now you're deliberately holding people against their will and stuff like that. And he starts to get really angry, and then he starts to be... He pushes himself up off the ground. He's like levitating. He's like, why can't I remember anything before Westview? So what's outside Westview? Why can't I remember any of my life? And she also like levitates with her hands. All,
it's
like,
this next... It's that last line and the next one that slapped me in the face and were like really whoa. For me, he goes, I can't remember my life before Westview. I'm scared.
Yes. Before I was like, he was angry, and I was like, okay, this isn't going to go well. And she's also like, you've never spoken to me like this. But he's like, I can't remember my life. I'm scared. And she sort of goes down a little bit. I'm like, that's an interesting emotion.
That's really interesting because scared people do very weird things.
Erratic. If you don't know your
and
life,
violent.
What do you do?
Like, if you're afraid, it's called fight or flight for a reason. And he's literally flying, and the only other option now is fighting.
Yep.
He's in fight or flight.
This is so good.
It's freaking great. And the idea of Vision being scared.
Yeah.
I don't know why that hit me so hard, but I was not expecting that line.
Well,
because he's not the Vision. He's not Vision the Avenger. He's Vision the middle American dad of two, husband to a wife who's European. You know what I mean? Like,
Vision's also changed a lot over the years. So like when he first started and he was in Age of Ultron, he was just a robot.
Yeah.
And then afterwards in like Winter Soldier and stuff like that, he progressed a bit more. Also the is it Winter Soldier, Civil War? One of those ones. Civil War. He started to get a tiny bit of an attachment, a little bit humanized towards Wanda. And then in Endgame, he pretty much is his own person. He's having a romantic relationship with Wanda.
Yeah.
And this is something else. He's got his own emotions. He's his own person.
He's his own man, yeah.
And we've never seen this side of Wanda before. It was so amazing.
I think it's important to remember Vision's like one of the few things that exist that can lift me on it.
Yes.
And why? Because he's pure and worthy and stuff, right? And why does that relate to this? Well, you have someone that's pure and worthy, finds himself in this, what they think might be normal, but something doesn't sit right. Yeah. Then you realize people are not in control of themselves, and they're uncomfortable, and they're hurting, and they have normal human things. Like Norm saying, like, I need to call my mum, she's sick. Yeah. Like suddenly there's all this weight here. And then he's thinking about it. He's like, okay, I thought it was just like, something we had to get through as a couple. And I thought it was subconscious, but now I think maybe you're doing this on purpose, and I don't know why. And what's worse is I don't know who I am. Yeah. I don't remember getting here. I don't know how we met. I don't know this stuff. The character of Vision on the show is all he is. He doesn't know what his backstory is. He doesn't know who the actor is, right? Yeah. He's just the character that you see on the screen, and realizes that, and that doesn't fit with existing. Yeah. And
it's beautiful.
I freaking love the I'm scared bit. I love it's that, and the True Love's kiss bringing color back into the world. Those two scenes like are really impactful to me.
Really.
I forget the I'm scared, and the way he delivers it, man, he's so good.
Paul Bettany's great.
He's freaking amazing.
Wanda tries to, with lies, calm him down and get him to see sense. Yeah. It's like, you're with me, you're being married to me and having our children. Is that not enough for you to be like enough for your life? Is that not enough? And then for a moment, he just sort of looks at it and says, why aren't there any more kids in Westview? It's like every day I go past the playground, there's no one there and whatnot. And I think that's going to play into the next episode, because we've seen in a trailer where he goes out trick-or-treating. Yeah. And I'm imagining there's lots of kids around.
Well, I'm imagining it's just him.
I think there's going to be kids around. I think it's going to be all of a sudden because he mentioned it. Sure. Here. Anyway, we don't get to see anything more than that. She goes to sit down and she almost like gives up at that point. And this is the point where Vision goes over. It's like, no, I believe at one point this was subconscious. This was supposed to be the but now it's getting too much. It's getting too much like that. Ding dong.
I didn't do that.
It's like,
come on, the perfectly timed thing.
Exactly. It's like, you don't believe me. It's like,
she also says one
statistics kind of point.
Yeah,
to
statistically,
like, what's going on right there?
She says one thing. I think it's before the doorbell.
Go on.
She says, "I don't know how it all started."
Yes.
And that line, despite like stuff being out of her control, because I'll give it to like Hydra maybe doing something or mind control or something like that, right? But this is kind of a thing you would know how it began, right? If you were doing it.
Yeah.
So I do think the Mephisto thing's a big
possibility.
Yeah, it's something in there for sure. But that line as well, it's like after the I'm scared from the vibranium Infinity Stone powered superhero, functionally Superman, to then I don't know how it started, but it's here and I'm with you and the kids.
Yeah.
And also, did we say this in the thing? In the like real world outside the Hex, they say the kids aren't cast.
Yeah,
they exist.
That's what Monica says. It's like, well, everything in there may be like a weird reality that she's making up, but those kids are real. I don't know how she specifically knows that.
We dropped some bombs in this one. The kids are real. Visions doesn't know who he is, and that's weighing on him.
And then the biggest bomb right at the end. Yes. Ding dong. Open up the door. Who is it? Great. We see some silver hair.
I thought it was Magneto to begin with.
I didn't have any ideas until I saw the silver hair. It's Quicksilver. But not just any Quicksilver. Quicksilver from X-Men Days of Future Past.
They made a decision, man.
Holy shiznit. They just pulled, and I had to go, as I said, like 45 minutes of discussing the bomb. This is why this is so important. They got the rights to doing this, blah, blah, blah.
This show, and the way they did it, and the fact that they led with this show is so important because Darcy brings up that, wait, she recast Pietro? No, she didn't. She would never recast Pietro.
No.
So we know, that's why I'm like, she's in the car, but the car's, like, the pedal's pegged. She can choose what lane she's in, but it's going.
Yeah.
There's no way she recast Pietro. There's no way she knows who this guy is, right? She knows he's playing the character of Pietro.
She gets it when she doesn't know this timeline. She says Pietro, so she knows at that point. But
and this is the thing, this is why I was like, I think she's kind of in a dream, but she's lucid dreaming. Right. She's not 100% in control. She knows that there's Pietro. It's not her Pietro. She wouldn't have made that decision. So it's something else at play.
Something's going on here.
In I guess it's the first episode where we recapped 1 through 4.
Yeah.
I said if you were going to bring in the mutants, one way to do stuff like this, we can retcon the movies, but without ever having to address it in the cinematic universe, as opposed to like the streaming universe, you can just sort of bring some stuff in where it addresses the movies, but if you wanted to get that question answered, you have to watch the streaming show.
Yeah.
Mutants are a thing.
Yeah.
X-Men are a thing.
It must be... What do you think there's going to be the reason for it?
Who cares, man? I want to see.
Don't get me wrong. I want to see it. And do you want to hear something amazing?
Yes.
So this is the end of the show right there.
Yeah, don't go anywhere because we're going to read your comments. We're going to see what you guys...
this is the end of the WandaVision episode.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
The WandaVision.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the show.
No.
We've still got comments. Subscribe,
video submission.
Patreon.com/conversation.
They probably didn't hear anything we said because we speak over each other. He walks in and he says, like, who's the popsicle and laugh track? And then it ends the show and whatnot. That's where it is right there. I think this is going to be like an alternate reality. A multiverse thing where they bring in people from mutants from another thing. But I think she's going to be the cause of mutants coming into the MCU. Like it's going to open like a rift and then they all pour in or whatever it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I have a theory, and now I can finally say it based on what's happened here.
Yes.
I mean, every fucking episode I've got a brand new theory.
Lay on me.
I have a theory that Pietro isn't real. This Pietro isn't real. I think he possibly turned up at the perfect moment. This happened directly after Agnes found out that she can bring people back from the dead. That's what she found. That's what she heard, right? Yeah. And again, we haven't heard anything from this Ralph guy. We think Ralph might be someone in the background controlling things and whatnot. And it just so happened that he pops up right after Agnes finds out that she can bring people back from the dead.
Right.
I think he's Mephisto coming back in some sort of form, knowing that she has an emotional attachment to her brother.
I think it's really Quicksilver. That's my thing. I think it's really Quicksilver, and whoever's causing this thing, whether it's the multiverse, I'm not sure. Like that seemed unlikely to me. By episode 4, that seemed unlikely to me. As of right now, seems kind of likely.
Oh, so fucking... Anyway, and that's where that part of the show ends. And oh my god, that's crazy. Want to hear something even more crazy?
Yeah.
So Elizabeth Olsen previously said that apparently this show is going to have a cameo appearance, well, not a cameo appearance, but an appearance of a character on the level of Luke Skywalker turning up in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Apparently this isn't it.
Okay.
Paul Bettany said that apparently they're working on someone in this show that he's admired for years.
It's got to be, I say Magneto.
Yes, that's my theory as well. Everyone's gone mad, and there's people that have written in our comments, we're going to read them out, who also think
could be
same.
Charles.
Exactly, they think also Professor X and whatnot. I think because of the attachment of the kids and whatnot, I think Ian McKellen. Ian
McKellen's, I mean, like, for a guy like Paul Bettany to say he like admires, I think it's got to be either
high level,
Patrick Stewart or Ian McKellen. However,
go on.
What would be a cool scene is to see, hypothetically, Wolverine get in a fight with a vibranium man, where those claws can. I think there is a hierarchy, and adamantium's above vibranium.
Really,
I believe that's true, but it's not like that much higher, you know. So I would like to see. That could be cool. That could be really cool.
Well, let's not delay any further. Let's kick it over to some of our boys, because we're going to go a little bit longer than I thought it probably would be.
Oh, crap. How long?
We're like an hour-ish already. We're aiming for like an hour.
Times 35 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's watch, first of all, our video submission
from our boy,
Ben Fryer. And hopefully this time the video will be in full opacity, not like Mario's video in the last one. Very sorry about that, Mario. When you're ready, I'm ready to hit play.
Yeah.
We'll listen to this and we'll discuss where he has to go. You ready?
3, 2, we're going on 0 play.
Hey lads, how's it going? Episode 5 of WandaVision really was incredible. They answered so many more questions, made me ask so many more. But my main theory at the moment is that a mutant will show up at the end of WandaVision. I was thinking Professor X at the end of episode 4, but now I'm actually thinking Magneto will show up, because it makes sense, because he's obviously Wanda's and Pietro's father, and now Pietro showed up. I don't think it's real, but I think it makes sense, and I think Wanda may go with Magneto, and he will teach her more and teach her about the mutants. And I don't know if that'll happen in WandaVision. It'll probably happen outside of it, and that's why she will be a villain in Doctor Strange 2. And then eventually she will find out, realize that she's been in the wrong and she's done all these bad things. Also, one thing I really noticed and really appreciated was Speed and Wiccan, Tommy and Billy, sorry, but they were wearing their superhero colours, and I really, really liked that. And I wanted to know if you guys think they will become Speed and Wiccan eventually, and then go into the Young Avengers, and eventually introduce the Young Avengers into the MCU. Thank you very much.
Damn, thank you very much there, Ben, for that. Thank you so much for sending in that video submission. There's always loved all those people that do that. That last question, do you think that Speed and Wickham, do you think they'll...
Oh, for sure.
You think so?
Except, so I think this neatly ties up my whole thing of like, the original Wanda Maximoff, the one that we knew, is a very powerful mutant, and she's Magneto's kid.
Yes.
Right? That's who her and Quicksilver are.
Yeah.
That's not the way the MCU went, because they didn't own the license to those characters, right?
They couldn't bank on that because they never knew if they'd get the license. So
Exactly. Fox owned the X-Men. So they had to come up with, okay, well, they give them this power with the Infinity Stone, but now that they do own the license, they can neatly tie up, like, and which was my theory, that they are naturally, or in this timeline, maybe they weren't mutants, but they're close to it. That's why it would work for them,
right?
And that the mutants are a thing. But I don't think the boys are going to be Speed and Wiccan for a long time. I think they're going to be here, but I think they're here for the risk. I think they're here for the Mephisto is going to take them away from Wanda. What happens, right? And I don't see Wanda being a villain. She's already done the villain arc, and nothing she's done so far makes her evil, especially our get out of jail free card of the I don't even know how it started. So while she's choosing to return and to stay here, and presumably she's like the power behind keeping everyone in line, she ain't the driving force.
Yeah.
She's not. I think there's something else at play that can take the spot of the villain, and maybe that becomes the villain for Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be her. It just doesn't sit right with me. Scarlet Witch has had, barring Nebula, the most character growth, and maybe Vision, out of anyone in the Avengers.
I agree. I think that while it's a good theory.
It's a good theory.
If it happened, I'd definitely be still munching on that popcorn. I'd be like, woo!
Absolutely.
Wanda turns into a villain. Let's see where this goes. I wouldn't turn off at all. I think her being a good person, being a good hero, is good. Especially because if you think about how many heroes are left in the Avengers, if you start taking her out, then you start to get really thin.
Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Magneto is not a hero.
True.
And even Magneto at his most heroic is not a hero. He's a mutant freedom fighter at best, right? He is a terrorist who at best is fighting in the same direction as you, but for his own reasons and his own goals.
Yeah.
If he's the cameo, which, oh my God, please, if he is the cameo, he's already a pretty huge villain.
Yeah.
Right, he won't be a villain from the beginning, but
see what happens at the end. I don't think that Speed and Wickham will be in the Young Avengers. I don't think they will go down the Young Avengers route. I think that gets a little too small for the scope of the MCU does.
Right.
I think they want to get bigger and better and keep the momentum at the top and keep them really big, the whole of each one of the movies and then what they're building towards and whatnot. They might come up as a character every night, in the end. So in Endgame, you had Pepper Potts in her Iron Man suit and whatnot. But you never want to see an Iron Man.
You want to see Tony.
Iron Maiden. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to see her in her own movie.
Even
you don't want to
War
see
Machine. It's it's cool when the Gatling gun's cool, but you're not Iron Man.
Exactly.
We're
he's
in
cool
it for
to
Iron
be
Man.
in stuff, which apparently he's going to be in Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier, which 19th of March. We just got a new trailer.
It looks good.
Oh, fuck.
March is packed.
It is packed. But I don't think we'll get to see them in the new Avengers. I don't think that's going to be a thing, unfortunately. Right. Let's kick over to some of our questions from our Patreon. That's patreon.com/conversations. The guys that support us and make all of this stuff possible. Our first one is from Real Kermit Cinema, and he asked a question.
Yeah, okay.
And he says, do you think this series will be the end for Vision, or will he stick around after, since he's in the comics, when his body went all grey and he's still alive? He just become a regular emotionless robot. What do you think?
Regular emotionless robot, absolutely not. What a waste of Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
And
sorry to interrupt you. No. I really hate doing that. But the fucking luck that they cast Paul Bettany to be Jarvis's voice all those years ago at the very first Iron Man movie, and then lucked out that he can actually be an amazing actor to also play Vision later on.
He's pretty incredible.
But crazy to me.
So here's one of the things is that there was that thing about, he'd never seen the Iron Man movies. He'd just done the lines.
Yeah.
So he wasn't really invested in it. He also, while he's an incredible actor, he's not really an action guy. Mm-hmm. Although he does it incredibly well.
Just seems to do it.
He's an incredible actor. Yeah. I actually suspect it's more down to him than the writing.
Yeah.
If they can write a role that he digs. Because I get the feeling he's an actor first. Mm-hmm. He's more of an, not to sound douchey, but he's more of an artist, right?
Actor.
He's an actor. He's a thespian. I think that's a real word.
To be or not to be.
I suspect if they can write something interesting, he'll do it.
He'll just nail it.
But I don't think he's going to play an emotionless robot.
Yeah, I think emotionless robots are a bit hard to sell.
He's so good. Yeah. He's so good. So I think it's asking a bit much.
And as we said as well, while I did draw a theory about Mephisto and how the souls and stuff like that happen from the comics,
the
MCU is known to not be a carbon copy of the comics.
Yeah.
So
they've gone their own way plenty of times.
Exactly.
Whether that was because they didn't own licenses or because they thought it worked better to get the average person in.
Exactly. Batfan527 writes in and he says, I really enjoyed episode 5. Had a lot of questions answered, such as how is Vision alive? I think Pietro will inform Wanda of the mutants in episode 6 and help introduce more mutants. I don't think that Wanda found Pietro, and I feel like maybe it's another villain doing it. And that ties into my thing that maybe Ralph, being Mephisto, pulled him in to hopefully get more information to try and work out his benefit.
Okay. Question for you. Not just for you guys at home. or wherever you're
Which, by the way, we read all the comments on the Four Pillars channel. Go do that.
We do, and we're also sometimes live in the live chat, just hanging out, listening to our own voices, because we're that douchey.
Fuck it, we're that full of ourselves. Go on.
She seemed really invested in the idea that Wanda could bring someone back.
Yes.
So, is Ralph Mephisto, or is Mephisto like Jaegering Ralph, or is Ralph dead and she's just been living with this stasis corpse in the bed who like had a heart attack in the night and died, but nothing can rot in this? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, what is going on?
Or is Ralph completely made up and it's actually Agnes this whole time just doing everything?
There is a theory that Agnes is the lady that trains Wanda, whose name I forget.
It's almost like her name, like
it's
Arcanus something or another, but that's also something as well, man.
Maybe, but I mean,
I'd like her to be in more stuff. That's what
I'm going to say. That it's definitely, I think the Hydra theory with what we had worked.
Yeah.
But now I'm pretty certain that's just trauma bleed over into the ads.
Yeah.
And that Pietro, and it not being Pietro from this universal timeline or whatever we're going with, is the proof that there is some other force working. Now, if it's Mephisto or not, I don't know. Seems believable because we know there's the time with Wiccan and Quicksilver. Is it Quicksilver? Not Quicksilver.
Speed.
Wiccan and Speed, where it's like his soul was split and she's somehow grabbed it out of thin air and created these two kids. I think they make a great risk. They make a great. The stakes are never higher than having Wanda Maximoff trying to keep her kids safe, right? Like that's asking for some real heavy-handed responses from a girl that will go toe to toe without question against Thanos for her boyfriend.
Yes.
Now you're talking about taking her children away. Like, I could see that getting... I could see her being a Hulk type villain. Well, you know how Hulk, after the Lagos event, that's... Hulk goes... He hulks out.
Yeah.
That's why that was such a big frick up, right? Kind of. And I could see Wanda not being too worried about collateral damage while trying to get the guy that's going to take her kids away or kill them.
Yeah, it's a good motivational force to just disregard other things around you.
That would be a good way to get her in as like the villain for Doctor Strange, where she's not so much the villain, but Strange and what he wants to achieve are in the way.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I get the impression that Wanda Maximoff, while very talented and very able to do complicated stuff, is much more Sledgehammer than Scalpel, which I love, I gotta say. Because Vision is the perfect opposite to that.
He's more like precision.
He's the sledgehammer that actually can work as a scalpel because he's made of vibranium and
so powerful but precise.
Right, exactly.
Although he did ruin War Machine's legs. Oof.
That was a bit OTT. Bit over the
top. A couple of very short ones from Twitter. I did put this out. Thank you everybody for putting there. Beneficial for your life. He wrote and he goes, did you notice that in the first few episodes, Vision moves really fast, like at the office and to get the doctor, like Quicksilver fast?
Nah.
I think it's a little bit different. Maybe he's reading too much into it, like your red curtains thing.
I think...
But it is interesting to think about.
So you had this theory early on, which obviously was ridiculous, and I called you out and educated you.
Terrible theory. Go ahead. What was that?
She's
projecting Vision
Vision's
onto something.
The vision of Vision, the illusion of Vision onto a person.
Yeah.
Someone from the town.
Which is not happening now, not onto a body or anything like that.
And I also said at the time, like, I get where you're coming from, and actually it was quite close. He's doing it onto his corpse.
Onto his corpse, yeah.
But
seems
like,
that way. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty certain. I think we can, like 99.9% say like that's what's happening. And I was like, look, if you did that to a human body, it'd come apart. There's no way. There's no way. So I think it's exactly what we said. She and whatever forces at play here is puppeting Vision into this thing. But Vision's brain is still there. All those connections are there. The Infinity Stone that was giving it energy, it's not that anymore. It's Wanda and whatever's powering her.
Wanda is her own version of the Infinity Stone.
She's booting up the computer. That's why Vision's Vision, and she's putting this overlay of what's going on. That's why he's still asking the questions he's asking. If Mjolnir was in his house and he needed a hammer, I bet this version could pick it up and use it. Yeah. Right? Without knowing what it was. Because it's still Vision.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting. So, but I'm pretty sure that's Vision's corpse.
Just being fast.
But being like, he's also a computer, right? So it's powered up. That's why he is Vision. So we were both right. It's her putting something onto a body. It happens to be Vision's body. And it is also Vision. It's really Vision. He's really there. It's just being powered by something other than the Infinity Stone.
But no, that's wrong.
I agree. You're totally right.
Second.
Well, I was going to say also, I'm referring back to my notes. It ignores the main character
That's
and
true.
her arc.
The main character is the what? I mean, oh god, there's the point there. There's a good point.
Right, how Rambo ties back into the whole Mephisto arc. Well, no. So there was a theory.
Go on.
That she's going to be the next Captain Marvel.
Yes.
That they were going to replace Brie Larson.
Brie Larson.
Although isn't she getting ready for Captain America 2? Captain Marvel 2?
It may be in that.
But so apparently there was talks of her replacing Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. Yeah. One, I would love to see her with the afro in that uniform. I think cool. That would be a good stylistic decision.
Yes. Yeah.
As a professional, a critic, if you will. But that could be a way that suddenly her arc makes more sense.
Yeah.
If she becomes Captain Marvel, then she has the power to fight Mephisto.
Yeah.
And finally become the main character, as she was always intended to be, of WandaVision.
Of all of WandaVision and the MCU. She's going to be the face of it. That's right.
I want to see 17 movies of just Captain Monica Marvel, Dambo.
You're going to kill me, bro. Oh dear God! This is.
I'm referring to my notes. I think we'll all agree this could happen.
If you enjoy this kind of stuff, you need to subscribe to us over on Combo Replations, because this is just what it is. The True Game Podcast is just this all the time. Pascal wrote in and he goes, "Okay, my 2 questions. Agnes is so watermelon, right?"
I know what that means, and I agree.
Me too. I agree with what Pascal's saying here.
If I didn't agree, I was going to actually say it myself. But you got there first, and I
saw you just going, and then
right.
I said it. There you go.
I mean, I might have gone honeydew.
Yes, I would have gone a little bit. I'd have gone on a smaller side. I would have gone something like an orange and whatnot. Still watery, but
right. I see what and round.
Exactly.
Important stuff. But he went with the watermelon. I think watermelon makes sense.
I might upgrade to coconut because that has a bit more bigger shape and whatnot. A bit watery.
Sturdy, and Agnes with the jazzercise, she seems very
sturdy.
Right.
This
just don't even make sense. I don't know what he said. It's a watermelon. How could it be? It's a fruit. Fruit salad. We're big fans of fruit salad.
We're going to look like boomers in the chat.
We are boomers. Just cut this in post, and we'll just
cut this out.
We'll be like, just Urban Dictionary.
I tried to look for it before.
Cut it. It's cool.
Chewie goes, this is the younger teenager version of Wanda that's now canon, and he's got a GIF, but what's that of? I don't know. She's got a GIF here, but
where is this on the Discord?
No, it's on my Twitter. I'm gonna have to put this up on the screen. We're gonna have to look at this afterwards because it's just I'm not.
Is it animated? Is it like a cartoon?
It's a GIF, and it's of Elizabeth Olsen. She looks like she's upset about something, but I don't know what. Okay. All
right.
And also, so now let's kick it over to our Discord server. Our boys over here.
The best Discord server that exists. It's actually the coolest place to come and hang out and talk about gaming, entertainment, movies, books, TV shows. Bingeable is one of the best. You don't spend any time. That's one of the reasons it's the best channel on the Discord.
Exactly.
Second best channel. Show and Tell's my favorite, genuinely.
I am also very busy sometimes, but I do a lot of work behind the scenes. Have you got it up as well?
No, but I can.
I'll read the first one, then you can read the next one.
Which room are we in?
In the movie club / StreamCast.
Why do I never know that?
Super Dan writes in, wow, Combros really be taking over the Four Pillars Network. Well, with the flagship show.
We're the flagship show on the FPN. So
no one comes over and is like, hey, let's go look at that Four Pillars podcast. As always, guys.
As who?
I
don't know, but like usual, we'll get back to this.
Yes.
I do want to say, ever since we've been doing YouTube, have always tried to really maintain hygiene levels of not looking at other people's stuff.
Yes.
Sometimes that bites us in the arse. Like we did the Combros podcast where we did our perfect burger. We went hard and everybody was like, oh, it's got bread and there's like a burger in the middle and maybe a tomato, right? And we went hard.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I'm seeing any of these comments. I'm not in the Wanda spoiler chat room. I don't check this out. You ask the question and then we never come back here. This is the first time we see this stuff. So if you're new around here, we
keep our opinions and then we go and see what your opinions are.
And you know that because sometimes we say the dumbest stuff.
Yes.
The
and
dumbest
people are
stuff.
like, they say the better thing. We're like, oh shit, we look like idiots. No.
Damn, we should have. So
Let me go.
Chris says,
Go on.
that was possibly the greatest twist I've ever seen. To pull the X-Men actor in was frickin' genius, only he didn't say frickin'.
Yep.
But they didn't want to get the kick-ass guy back.
Which is the guy from
Pietro,
yeah. Which that guy is super jacked, by the way.
He's in great shape.
I was gonna say he could play Thor. That's how jacked he is.
He's a sprinter.
Is he?
Well, I mean, he's the training he did was, I believe, was to make him look like a sprinter. And I mean, look at Usain Bolt.
Yeah, true. Joe says, I love that they revealed the better Quicksilver. Yes, Joe.
I will say his scene in X-Men Days of Future Past was probably the best thing in the movie.
Yep. I like the bit where he breaks Magneto out and he takes him into the elevator and he's like, so what'd you do? Why'd they lock you up? What'd you do? It's like, I was locked up. Why'd they lock you up? For killing the president. It's like, and then he looks over to the guy that he's hooked up to the wall with duct tape and he's like,
yeah, he really did it.
Why am I doing this? It's really good.
He's actually, don't get me wrong, he's great. I really vibed with the aesthetic of the two of them from Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And so it's supposed to be very jarring for a different Pietro. Is his name even Pietro in Days of Future? He is, yeah. Like, it's supposed to be jarring.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. And also his scenes are very stylistically different to what we saw from Quicksilver in the Age of Ultron. So
the streaks rather than just he's just fast. He's
also
like,
the slow-mo. Oh god, so good with like the great tunes.
Yeah,
I'm hoping we see some of that. I
really hope so too, and I think they will. If they've taken the effort to pull that Quicksilver, they must be like, okay, we're going to take everything that made him Quicksilver and put him in this universe.
They seem to have the budget, the production value and everything to do it, so I really want to see that.
And crucially now the license.
Yes, that's the most important thing.
Do you want to read David's one just here?
Yeah. Wait. Oh, you skipping...
Oh, did I skip someone?
We skipped
Read
Bucky.
whoever you want.
Yeah, I heard about the surprise cameo, but I thought it was going to be Aaron Taylor Johnson. Okay, never mind.
Bucky, thank you for writing in, bro.
No, I thought it was a comment. It was just like I thought the cameo would be someone different.
Sometimes people just put in comments here for jokes, but yeah, go
right. David says, "Hey, Eddie's son here, and here are my thoughts."
My son.
You have issues, bruv. This episode was great. Definitely the best one so far. Do you think it was the best one so far? I really digged 4.
I'm gonna say this one's my favorite.
The twist is huge. Actually, I really loved that whole Vision being scared, and then I'm not even sure how to... Yeah, okay.
There's a lot happens.
There's a lot of great episodes so far. Like they haven't had a bad one.
Yeah.
Really love the 90s style of the sitcom they went with for this episode, because I love shows like that 70s show and Full House, even though that 70s show, by the way, is not in the 90s.
Or in the 80s. It's
actually in the name. The twist with Quicksilver has me intrigued, because I'm not sure if it's just a small cameo or if this is their way of bringing the multiverse into the mix. No idea how Wanda resurrected Vision. Not even sure if this is him resurrected, but I'm glad that he stood up to her after he figured everything out, because what she's doing is fricked up. Yes, Steve. Milky Mummy Geraldine got more action, and that warrants a 10 out of 10 for me. Have a good day, lads. D, you have a man of fine and distinguished tastes. And let me refer back
for you.
Let me refer back to my notes. That is the correct take. That's the correct take.
Thank you, D, for writing in there. I do think that it is more than just a small cameo. I think it is the introduction.
I agree.
Juice's spicy sauce goes in. It seems pretty obvious now that Wanda is controlling everything, but I'm still guessing Hydra is involved somehow. Also, I guess they're bringing the multiverse with the version of Quicksilver. Overall, great episode. Probably best by far. I'm saying that about every episode that comes out. That's basically how we all are.
I'm in that same boat, man. I'm totally there with you.
It's like, no, this is the best. No, this one is
the
Titanic.
Best. That is all my theories sinking. But me and you in the lifeboat dressed as women, so it's cool.
Let's just play the violin.
Right.
Okay.
Link. What does that say?
Link Auditore the Platypus.
Says, God, paragraphs, man. Actually, it's okay.
He's got 2 paragraphs at least.
There are 2. I'll tell you if you're new around here. Reading, never been one of our strong suits. Reading with a camera in your face, even harder.
Even harder.
So here we go, fingers crossed. I really loved this episode as well. In fact, it was so mind-blowing, mouth-opening, and freaking amazing that I watched it twice, so like back to back. I loved how the show is consistently able to become better and better with each new episode. I'm going to use my cursor to do the tracing thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love how they now have the right balance between Wanda's reality and the MCU reality, and of course the ending was freaking insane. Wanda coming out that reality for a while was an epic scene as well. Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany's acting was sublime. Loved how Olsen switched the accents like it was child's play.
So good.
I didn't really theorize much since I'm just enjoying the show and not overthinking too much, but I do agree with the theory regarding Evan Peters' Quicksilver cameo. Oh, Evan Peters is the actor.
Yeah.
Right. Which many mentioned. He can very much be from the alternate universe, the X-Men unit. Right. Sorry, yeah. With you. I do think we're now getting some cool multiverse shiz, which is just going to expand even further. Why did I get that one? You got D's perfectly paragraphed thoughts.
Well, don't worry.
Dylan's. I'm sorry.
Yes, Dylan's one. Well, we'll see if it is right, because you never know. You could throw a typo in there like me and then just ruin everything. Summer Dylan writes in and goes, "This episode of WandaVision blew my mind." By the way, thank you for bringing a new supporter on Patreon. You're a legend right there.
Gamer.
Feel free to take pauses while reading to give your thoughts after each break. So that's why he broke it down.
Appreciate you so much. And he has the best takes on anime.
I don't know about that.
Which is the only important thing we cover.
This is probably going to be a great comment, I can tell you. So it goes, the tension is slowly rising in the episode, with Vision no longer being so ignorant like he was before, and is now constantly aware of what's going on around him. That bit where Vision woke up Norm was so dark, and I loved it. Really.
I was not expecting him to put him back.
Yes, that's something.
That was like the turn for me.
It's like
he chose Wanda.
Yeah, well,
he had an innocent man that he could help.
He was like, "Oh, this isn't the right moment. Put him back quickly."
I guess you could say, like, if he puts him back, then he can address it with Wanda and get everyone freed all at once. I guess you could say that.
It's like if you're in a hostage situation, don't like start shuttling people out because they might get killed. Try to diffuse the situation that you can get everyone out. That's the kind of thing right there.
All right, yeah.
Anyway, you guys, I also love how they mirrored the situation of the dog dying with Wanda's situation. The kids want Wanda to bring back the dog from death, but Wanda says there are rules in life and they just can't just do that.
Yeah.
But you can, hypocrite. What I picked up from that was that Wanda feels guilty, which I think that's also what they're trying to say there. There's strong conflict within her. She feels immorally wrong from resurrecting Vision, but it's simply too difficult to let go of him. Yep, I think that's definitely what's going on there. Now going back to Vision, I assume Vision automatically goes back to being dead when he steps out of the Hex. Interesting.
I think that's legit. Yeah,
it's true, because I mean, why make the reality then? Otherwise, you probably just make it and then drop it and then leave with your man.
That's what I would do.
That's what you would do. Because of how Monica's outfit was explained, it's just an illusion, but it's still a working vest. And in Vision's case, Wanda just made him alive in the Hex, but if he steps out, he's still dead. But would he just look alive? Would he just, like, the color would be there, but he'd actually just be dead?
I mean, maybe, because, you know, she changed the vest into, like, totally different clothes. What if she changed, like, the hole in his face, right? But he's dead, so he'd be him, but he'd have no color. He'd be colorless. But he's up and running because he's been shifted.
I guess if he's still dead, he's still dead. Doesn't matter what he looks like, right?
That's a good point. He needs the power source, right? Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Lastly, lads, sorry if this one was too long. I don't think it was.
That's perfect.
What do you think about the Evan Peters Quicksilver appearance? I think it's amazing. I think it's going to start a whole multiverse theory thing, and I hope they stay true to that kind of Quicksilver. Yeah. That's what I think. People and myself are debating if this was just a silly actor cameo and like WandaVision's recast of a fan service, or if this really is the actual character from the X-Men films. It opens up so many doors and possibilities to the future of the MCU. And since Marvel is now showing us that they're willing to use other actors from other universes, then the possibility of having Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, that's right, he hasn't written it here and I was trying to think of it, in Spider-Man 3 grows even stronger. That's true. We've heard those ridiculous claims that they're in those movies.
Would be mind-blowing.
I think this is pretty much confirmed.
I suspect this Pietro is the Pietro from X-Men Days of Future Past, who is currently under the mind sway thing, playing, so it's Pietro, cast as Pietro, Wanda's brother, right?
Yeah.
So it is him, but for right now, he's playing the character of Pietro from this, the cameo of her brother. And then once it all drops, or he comes to, or Vision does the thing to his head, he'll realize, hold on a minute, this isn't my universe. You're not my Wanda.
Yeah.
What's up? That's where I think it's going. Sam.
Yes.
Do you know what? I have to check everyone's names because sometimes we have new guys and sometimes it's just the boys on the Discord changing the names to frick with us. So, pretending to be one of the other guys.
Today, we're all Diogos. God.
Oh boy, this episode left me in shock. There's a lot to talk about, but the main thing for me was the Evans-Peter scene. A lot of people are saying this is the big cameo that Paul Bettany talked about, saying that it's an actor that he really wanted to work with, and that's like the Luke Skywalker cameo in its magnitude. But I don't think that this is it. And this, I agree. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And
it's a big deal if you know Wanda, but
it's not as big.
No, it's not like...
It's not Luke Skywalker level.
Yeah,
Luke Skywalker is the character of what actually Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker is, but he is the next thing character.
It's not...
Quicksilver isn't there.
Yeah, we need like Ian McKellen or something. In this episode, there was a strong emphasis on... Oh God, I lost it. On the changes Wanda makes in reality aren't undone when brought outside of the Hex. So I think this is how Marvel is planning to introduce the X-Men to the MCU, or what they'll come through into the...
That's what I think.
Okay,
I think what she's done is open like a rift and then just pour in now.
Okay, yeah, I could believe that. Specifically taking into consideration the fact that Wanda will also be in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, really suggests that Evan Peters' Quicksilver is from the Fox universe. Yeah, I think because they own the license, so they can do whatever has been done in the past. So it's so doable. As for the cameo, I think we'll see Magneto. God damn it, I thought we were so smart.
I thought we was as well, but apparently everyone thinks the same.
And some of the other X-Men characters later in the season, and this is just a prediction that we'll see Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, so that's the one difference, right?
I actually really dig Fassbender. In particular, I dig his little scenes. I dig the scene in the factory.
Yeah.
I dig the scene where he's like hunting the Nazis in the bar. Those are my two favorite Fassbender Magneto scenes out of everything. He's done some cool stuff. Those are my two favorite scenes.
One scene that I really like is one. It was in Days of Future Past because I also watched that again after watching this.
I need to watch that tonight.
And he's on the plane when Charles gets him back, and this is the first time they kind of have a conversation. Yeah. But Charles is still really broken up about why he left him, and he gets angry at him, and also like almost fucks up the whole plane with his metal powers. And he's like, "Where were you, Charles, when we needed you? Where everyone died?" And I was just like, holy crap, that's powerful.
Fassbender is so good. Do you know what? I wish they would make like a live action, like Assassin's Creed movie.
He would be great. He would be a perfect assassin.
I think so.
God, why don't they do that?
I don't know. I think they should. It's a good idea.
Netflix, if you're on it, do something.
I think you should. Yeah.
Right then. Anyway,
I'm so sorry,
guys. That's all the comments that we have here today from our Discord server.
You got Superman Whale.
Ben. He put the video in.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah,
in fact, I think he goes, "Well, I haven't had time to make a video," but then he went back and did it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of StreamCast. We're going to make it end quickly so it doesn't go even longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, we messed up.
Sorry about that. Just a quick thing. Podcast services. This show is live on podcast services. We're having a little issue with iTunes at the moment. They rejected it first time. We're trying to get it redone. It will happen very soon.
Wait, how do you know that? We're doing this live. How do you know it's going to get rejected?
No, it got rejected, and I had to resubmit it, and it's going up again. They just need to approve it again, so they say it's going to take a couple of days to do that. We're not done recording it. How do you? You have to make the whole podcast list and send it to. You don't know about.
I don't do the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I do the back end YouTube, not the podcast.
It's happening. Right. I'll keep you guys updated on Twitter, and I might update in like a comment in below the video and whatnot. But it will be happening soon. Some people did ask. Thank you so much for asking about that, bro. It's been an amazing chat. I'll see you again next week for another episode of Streamcast, and we'll see you guys soon in the next one. Check out all our links in the description to all our awesome places.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
we need outros, man.
Power dudes out.
We should definitely do a Power Rangers movie club.
Yes. Check you later, guys.